Thank you for joining us on SpEd. As far as we're still talking to Dr. Richard Nyankori. He is the Deputy Chancellor of the Office of Special Education for the DC Public Schools. Thank you for being on our show. Thank you for giving us some more of your time. I want to ask you a couple more questions. Most states have like an advisory committee for students with disabilities. Does DC have such a program like that?
Sure. So under the law and IDA, as you know, the state is responsible for having a state advisory panel, and our colleagues over at the Office of the State Superintendent of Education staff that function.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the terms in regards to that and how they're selected?
So there are invited members from different agencies that work with people with disabilities. It has to be 50% parent fulfilled. Parents are invited. Other parents are appointed.
Okay. We were talking first before we went to break in regards to some of the services that you provide. Could you go in a little bit more detail on the therapeutic services that DCPS provides?
Sure. So we have, of course, we have social workers.
Right.
We have, for kids with physical disabilities, we have occupational therapy, physical therapy, mobility services. We have an outstanding vocal auditory program. I think that when you look at our offerings, they are comprehensive. And I think that there's an assumption that we just don't have them, but I can assure you we do.
Now, you talked earlier about the early intervention program. Give us a little bit more details on what you're actually doing as far as with parents with that program.
Sure. So for us, early intervention is not a program. It is a fundamental approach to what we think is going to help kids with disabilities and kids who are at risk. So starting off with good diagnostics and making sure that in that critical time from birth to 5, that we're really making a difference with students. So as you know, under IDA, we have a child find obligation and to find kids from birth to 22 who have a potential disability. In the past, that's been a function that we really haven't paid a lot of attention to. I'm happy to tell you about a new state-of-the-art early childhood diagnostic center that will be up and running in one of our brand new school buildings called Walker Jones Elementary School.
Okay.
It's actually a K-8 school. It's changed. That facility has a community center, a public library, a school library, and now our diagnostic center. Our feeling about it, it's going to be very high-tech and high-touch, a very welcoming place for students. Okay.
Tell us a little bit more about as far as your parent resource centers.
So under one of our consent decrees, we have a parent resource center that is managed by Advocates for Justice and Education. They really work with parents in early dispute resolution and connecting them with community resources. DCPS also has 3 neighborhood-based parent resource centers in wards 1, 7, and 8. And those serve all parents, have workshops, resources, computer labs, that type of thing.
What about your extended school year services?
Right, so many of our students qualify for extended school year, and as you know, it's to make sure that kids don't regress over the summer.
Right.
We want to change the model a bit.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we're using extended school year not to just make sure kids don't regress, but we actually want to accelerate their learning. So we're really looking into how can we use that extra time, 4 to 6 weeks, to make sure that students are really, really pushing towards their next achievement targets. Traditionally, ESY has been somewhat summer campish, somewhat less rigorous, and we want to make sure that it is a rigorous part of the IEP process.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as one of the areas that's sometimes left behind is the older students with disabilities.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the career and transitional services that you have?
Sure. So this is, so I agree with you. Older students do get left behind, and especially our students who are 19 to 22.
Yes.
So this is an area of focus for us. So at the early intervention end and in the transition end. Okay. And what we've been doing is to work with our other agencies to make sure that transition services are robust and that they make sense for this economy, right? In the past, it may have been appropriate to talk about construction trades and bricklaying and some of the more traditional type. But what we've been having dialogue about is how do we prepare folks, all of our kids, for jobs in a green economy?
Exactly.
And our kids, when you meet them, they are so able to do. And I feel we have the responsibility to make sure that we're making sure that they have good and fulfilling careers they can go to, whether they start a career directly out of one of our high schools or they start a career after college. So that's the first thing we're doing, making sure that we have the right opportunities. The second thing is making sure that our other agencies are on board with our approach. The third thing we want to do is just to make sure that from age 14, we are have vocational plans and transition plans for students, starting early so that they get a variety of experiences so they know what they might be into. We're actually looking at a pathway from transition directly into a 2-year college. Okay. So in a supported environment so that those students who may not have the credits and may want to try for a GED or want one of our high school diplomas can easily track into a 2-year institution. That
sounds like a very good plan.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We just started to pilot it. We have a few students in it now. The students who are there are doing a wonderful job.
That's good to hear. One other hot service that's out there right now is assistive technology. Can you tell me a little bit more about what DCPS is doing in regards to that area?
We're all about assistive technology. I personally, I just think this is the way to go. There are so many advances out in assistive technology. We staff that position. We seek out new technologies that are available to assist in reading, assist in vision, mobility, and it's one area that we're so passionate about. A community member donated $25,000 for us just to kick off a very small type of pilot for a particular type of assistive technology.